in the world is so really important because, as you know, the family is the nucleus of the planet. And so I'm excited to be able to introduce all of you. I guess we will start with Pata. I pray I'm saying that right, Pata. And I am to introduce you to the group.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so what I have for you, Pata, oh, so beautiful. And you have a beautiful person with you.
This is my wife, Tamara. Can I talk in Russian? It's better. Yeah, да.
That's up to our host. Is that okay?
Да, на русском гораздо лучше для нас, Тамрико будет лучше понимать. Приветствуем каждого из вас. Я пришел сейчас не один сюда, а привел свою супругу Тамрико, потому что это мы будем говорить о семье и о семейных ценностях, и без нее я не представляю, как говорить о семье. Приветствую всех, Марина, очень рад тебя видеть.
Пата, дорогой Тамрико, приветствую вас. У нас все англоговорящие здесь, поэтому я думаю, у нас не было еще случая, чтобы говорили на русском.
То есть по-английски поговорить. Хорошо. Okay, I'm very sorry. I thought there was a translation from Russian to English, so I'm very sorry. So I'll say it again. This is my wife, Tamara, Tamrico, and as far as we're talking about the family, I thought that it's impossible for me to talk about family without her, so I brought her.
That's perfect. Absolutely. We cannot talk about family without the wife and the husband. So Pata, just to let you be familiar, we would like all our audience to be familiar with you and your beautiful wife. So Pata, you're a doctor of psychology, you're a sociologist, a writer, president of the International Center for Humane Pedagogy, right? And scientific director of the preschool educational institution, Bashtu Banu. Babu, Bashti Babu. And so when you start, if you would just briefly give us a little bit of understanding about Basti Babu. Myself, I'm so curious. And Pata, because we're, there are four presenters, we're requesting everyone, if you can kindly keep your introduction to 3 minutes. And we have a question for you, of course. So our first question is, what challenges do you see in the modern families? And what spiritual solutions, technologies, can you suggest to address these challenges? Thank you so much. And please give us just a little brief understanding of Basti Babu.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting to this conference. Basti Bubu are the words in Georgian, and it is translated as children's happy voices. Whenever you hear children's happy voices in Georgian, that means Basti Bubu, and from Basti Bubu, Tamara, with my little help, made a quite a huge kids organization for kids development, and we are going to celebrate 30 years of Basti Bubu next year in 2022. And so it's quite an interesting organization, quite well known in Georgia. Now about families. Of course, I believe that family is a most important cell, I could say, for self-development for each person. And I believe that only through personal relationship is possible the inner development of humankind, and family is the most closest thing that we can use for our development. And we are together more than 30 years, 35 years, and nearly 35 years. And of course, we had some problems when we were much younger. But I see that as far as we realize the importance of our self-development, our relationship becoming better and better, and I'm happy to watch this process. Very good. We have one daughter, only one daughter. She's quite big now. The adult is 4 years now, and we have also a granddaughter, 13 years old. So now, daughter and our granddaughters are our one of our best teachers. So we learn a lot from them.
You both look so, you both,
also brings us happiness.
Pata, you both look so young to have grandchildren, both of you. This is so amazing. So I was so the next, the continuation of that, I'm hearing you're saying self-development is an important aspect of family life. And I'm wondering, I'm a little curious to the next part of the question, what spiritual solutions, technologies can you suggest to address these challenges? Because there's so many challenges. As you said, you had them when you were younger. So what technology did you use? Now you're together 35 years, you've used something.
First of all, of course, our main ground where we stand is Orthodox Christianity as our confession. We are Orthodox Christians. And our praise or mantras are very helpful as far as we are. As far as I'm using it all day, every day. I mean, I feel that it gives a lot for better relationship with everybody. Besides this, we are trying to practice the gratitude of each other, to see the better things in each other, and to Tamara says don't forget about human pedagogics, which is also a very important source for our improving our relationship, because human pedagogy by Shova, my father, is very deep knowledge about practicing very developing relationships with
Thank you
kids.
so much. I'm sure when you go into the groups that everyone will be so excited to hear about human pedagogy, and also the fact that your foundation is based on praise of God and gratitude. I'm guessing everyone will be so excited to hear about that. The second question we have for you both is please share any interesting and instructive experience in you addressing family issues or helping someone using family issues, spiritual technologies. So as you know, this whole conference is based on utilization of spiritual technologies. And I hear your wife, Tamara is sharing about the importance of human pedagogy. Sometimes I get that word confused. So perhaps you might want to share a little bit of that in terms of your technology.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This spring and in summer this year, we established, trying to realize one of our ideas, and we established a laboratory of happiness. Firstly for my friends psychologists, and then for the wider public. We all together we are trying to find ways how to improve our inner state of happiness. And the laboratory of happiness not somewhere, it's inside each of labyrinth who come to this. And so we are trying to practice each day kindness and listening to each other, and we are doing it ourselves, and people around follow us. For Tamara today is the day for listening. This morning she got up and said, today I'm listening, so don't be surprised if I would be silent and shy. So you talk and I listen. And so that's why she's sitting now and listening most of the time.
So beautiful. Listening is one of the skills that in America, people pay thousands and thousands of dollars to attend a seminar.
Yeah.
So that is such an important and beautiful skill for everyone to learn. Thank you both so very much. And we're just, because we want to hear from you both in the small groups. And so these introductions are quite brief. However, we know that we are going to get so much more when we get together in these small groups. So thank you both. And we will check in with our next presenter. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to hearing from you. So there is some, okay, Pata. Thank you. Next, we're introducing Nrsimhananda Das. And Nrsimhananda Das.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. Thank you.
Okay, here you are. Wonderful. Good. This is Rajalila. We've seen each other different places. And I wanted to introduce you, Nrsimhananda. He's a producer, a worldwide, well-known producer, very expert in that field. He has educated so many of us with what he has done in terms of filmmaking. Nrsimhananda is a producer, he's a screenwriter, and for those of you that don't know, his secular name is David Shapiro, and he has been spreading spiritual knowledge through cinema for 32 years. Just imagine. And not just, not just ordinary knowledge. There's different kinds of knowledge. He's been sharing spiritual knowledge. He's also a relationship coach specializing in family dynamics and marriage. So I'm excited to hear, we're all so excited to hear from Nrsimhananda, especially this part about you specializing in family dynamics in marriage and your film. When are we gonna have some, or do we already have some? So Nrsimha, we're so very happy to have you, Nrsimhananda Prabhu. And there are two questions that we have. And the first one is, what challenges do you see in the modern families? And there's a second part to that. However, I think I will just let you share that first part, then we'll go to the second part. So you're a coach.
First of all, Rajalila, thank you very much. I'm very grateful to be here. I feel unqualified to speak on the subject. I'll explain why. But nevertheless, because you've asked, my sister once told me, go where you're invited and don't go where you're not invited. That piece of wisdom came on the heels of my first wife choosing not to carry on with my marriage. I had fallen head over heels in love back in 1979. I was, as they say, love is the grandest illusion. And if that's so, I've experienced that grandest illusion. So the dissolution of that first marriage was just a cataclysmic tsunami in my life, because I had basically identified myself with the relationship. And when the relationship soured, then I didn't know who I was. It was very interesting that in that relationship, in the last 3 years, my previous wife had taken up the position of going to school in getting her license in marriage and family counseling. And she didn't know how to type. So as the dutiful husband, I was typing all of the papers. Thus, I was for 3 years basically enrolled in the course in marriage and family counseling. And I got into a conflict with the head of the school, because I could see that the kind of education that they were getting was actually leading my beloved to fulfill her own ambitions and neglect the family. So it was a very educating and difficult period of time, which didn't end up very nicely. So I have a lot of experience both in a successful marriage and an unsuccessful one. And not only that, but after 12 years by Krishna's arrangement, I was remarried, took on 2 children in that marriage who didn't have a father, and have raised them from their early years to a what I consider so far a very successful emergence into adulthood. So that's kind of,
Nishingananda Prabhu, there's some things I'm hearing you say that are so important. You said that one of the challenges in modern life is that in modern families is that people don't know who they are. And that we think that the people that we're with is we identify with them in such a way that we lose the understanding of who we are. That is so key. And I know that you're going to speak a lot more about this in our group, in our small groups. I wanted to just go on to the second part of that question. What spiritual solutions or technologies can you suggest to address these challenges? Because as you said, most people don't know who they are. And you've done 32 films helping people to understand. You're an educator. So please give us very briefly just one technology.
well, I wanted to get to the fundamental issue because my spiritual master's life itself was a very incomprehensible in terms of how he left his family. In fact, what he wrote to us and what we accepted in the beginning was the idea that actually family life is a skin disease. And what that challenged us to think about was what was our actual role in family life, not just the family that we marry and produce offspring, but the family from which we come. I come from a very strong Jewish family. We remain all very close today, but it wasn't always that way because of my neophyte understanding of family life. So how did we go as a society, as a religious or a spiritual society? How did we go from the idea that family was an impediment to spiritual advancement, which is the same road that the Buddha had to travel as Siddhartha leaving his family behind? How do we actually traverse that chasm between our own spiritual development and that of the loving relationships that we have with our existing families? That's really the essential issue. And the technologies that we use, technology in the sense of the philosophy behind what will motivate us to understand our true identity, who we really are, is really at the basis of any discussion about family. We must go there first. Self-realization is the seed of comprehending what is true loving family life in this day and age, or in any age. So that's what we're going to I hope to explore in the group.
Sounds beautiful, because I'm hearing you say that not only do we need to know who we are, we also need to know that family life is not just a skin disease, that family life is actually very precious. And it's something that we need to nurture in that mood of understanding who we are. So thank you for that. That is so enlightening, as you do. This is what you do. You enlighten people. So the next question for you, Nishingananda Prabhu, is please share any interesting and instructive experience in solving family issues or helping someone using spiritual technologies. So maybe one spiritual technology that you use, I know one of them is making film. that's one of them. So what is maybe perhaps another one, just so, because you're giving all of the participants here a little taste of what they're going to get in these little small groups.
There is one technology that stands above all of the others. It stands above the philosophy. It stands above everything. And that is, you have to associate with people who are spiritually advanced. It is the only way by which we actually can imbibe, absorb, transform. That is the key. And we have to be extremely careful, both within family and within the greater family of humanity. We have our own biological family. We have our own ISKCON or religious order that you're in family. We have our society. But, there's the general family of humanity, which includes, by the way, all living beings, birds, trees, animals, etc. And it's by understanding our relationship through associating, or that sadhu sangha we call it, that holy or sacred association with advanced spiritual people, that actually helps us transform ourselves. That's the major technology that I employ.
Thank you so much, because we see in every spiritual tradition that a family keeps a nucleus when they are connected with their priest, their imam, their pastor, whoever it may be that's representing the knowledge of the particular theology. So it's so beautiful that you are able to bring this all together for everyone here today. We're all excited, and we're waiting to hear from you, Nishangananda Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
You are such a bright light, Prajalila. Who could not reflect your wonderful countenance?
I am simply trying to serve my teacher. As you said, we need holy association. My teacher is Holiness Bhaktitirtha Maharaj, who lives in my heart, although he's not here in the physical plane. And thank you for allowing me to serve you. Thank you. So our next guest speaker is Edwina. Edwina, you're here with us? Hey.
I am here.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
We have someone in a female body that's representing the family, the paradigm of understanding family. So I'll introduce you really quickly, Edwina.
Sure.
Okay, so Edwina is the founder and CVO of Spiritual Playdate and spiritualplaydate.com. I love that name, Spiritual Playdate. I just I want to know what that's all about. Children's Peace Education Advocate, Advisory Board, Omina Institute for Contextual Leadership, Spiritual Guide for Living Peace Now, Social, Emotional, and Spiritual Learning Advocate, Collaborator, Uplift Project. Of course, she's a speaker. She's here with us today. A presenter. She's here with us today. A blogger. We need to get your blogging information. Faith Ed Reform. Peace Education is our only hope. Mom, peacemaker, and bridge builder. So what I'm gathering from your CV is that you are an embodiment of peacemaking. So we have a question for you, Edwina.
Yes,
please. What challenges do you see in modern families?
So I think we have enormous challenges in front of us at this moment. Families can be a lot of different things. We have large families, small families. We certainly have the families that we are born into and the families that we choose. My family at the moment is my two sons, one adopted from Ethiopia, my older bio son. My husband of 35 years passed a couple years ago. And family is supposed to be the safe place. It is supposed to be the place where we can let ourselves go with each other a little bit, be forgiven, try our best to practice all the spiritual skills that we learn. So in our program, what we try to do is we try to deliver resources to parents and teachers so they can talk about spiritual skills. I'm just reading on the humane pedagogy, how it talks about, you know, the fundamental spiritual qualities of a person are formed from childhood. And so what we tend to do with kids is we wait until they're 12 or 13 or 14 years old to start having really important discussions. And in our approach, that's far, far too late. They are not interested in our opinions or our ideas or our beliefs at 12 or 13 or 14 years old. So discussions with young children about important things, about spiritual ideas, forgiveness, gratitude, love, you know, letting go, all of these things that we sometimes take lifetimes to learn. If we can impart some of this to our children at an early age, then we are going to see character building and confidence and skills, life skills that they need. I think the biggest challenge is that as the human race right now, as grown-ups, we don't mostly have these skills. We are instead of being able to manage our emotions and understand our emotions, we just react to everything. We go out and we get online and we post whatever we want. We don't think about, you know, who we're hurting or how we're approaching things. And I think that, you know, when we bring it home to the family, if we can start there with the golden rule and the treatment of the other person and the respect of the other person, you know, there is no other in a spiritual world. You are my other me.
Edwina, what you're sharing is just so beautiful because you are starting with the children as Pata. He's also so much addressing the children. And as you said, when you are 12 or 13, all of your hormones are changing. And if you haven't yet received these basic skills that you're talking about, such as, you know, forgiveness, just basic forgiveness, then the family nucleus, you know, will have definitely obstacles. So I'm hearing that some of the challenges that you see in modern families today is that people are not properly trained from a young age. And that, you know, includes a world of humanity. Just so much is needed, so much education is needed, so much training. I wanted to go on to our second question, which ties into the first one. What spiritual solutions, technologies can you suggest to address these challenges? And Edwina, please forgive me. I am moving a little fast, only because we really want to hear from you in the small group. And if I limit now my facilitation with you, you can talk so much more because we need to hear from you.
No worries, no worries. Thank you. So I do think that, so there's a big movement in education. I don't know that it's a global movement at this point, but there's a big movement in education for children. It's called social emotional learning, SEL. And what we have discovered is because we have this sort of universal thing where we don't want to talk about religion, we don't include spirituality in that SEL. We talk about social skills and emotional skills, which are critical, but I believe strongly that there are spiritual skills too that we need to deliver to our children. So I was just talking about the golden rule is a spiritual technology. There are 20 versions of the golden rule, more than 20 versions. Every major and many minor faiths have a version of the golden rule. When you break the golden rule down, it doesn't mean, it's not a transaction. It's not, I'll be nice to you and then you'll be nice to me. That's not how it works. It means we're connected. We come from the same source, whatever you want to call that. We return to that source, whatever that is in your tradition or belief. We're the same. When I hurt you, I hurt myself. When I lift you up, I lift us all up. So, and that is something that if we can start to impart that to children, that when they hurt another, when they bully another, a husband and wife, when they are hurtful, they're really hurting themselves. The way it works is that I hurt myself because I think less of myself. I've lowered myself by hurting somebody, not because there's some karmic thing that's going to come back and punish me. So this golden rule, which is such a universal concept, even humanism has a version of the golden rule, is something that we can start to impart to our children at a young age. It's a spiritual, it is, to me, I call it the universal peace hack. We're working on some pamphlets and books. It is the path to peace. It's hard. It is hard. Don't get me wrong. I challenge you to practice it for one day in the real world, but it is the path to peace.
Yes,
So,
and what I'm hearing you say is that interconnectedness is such an important aspect of understanding universality of humanity, that we need to understand that we're interconnected. And I'm hearing you say that consciousness is not, us connecting with each other is not just based on the emotional, or it's not just based on the social, it's not just based on the physical, it's also based on the spiritual. And so that is complete. You know, it's just a complete package. And it sounds like you have a formula for peace. And we thank you so very much, Adrina. And we're looking forward to hearing from you very soon in our small groups. Okay, and now we're going to go to our last facilitator, our last host facilitator or teacher. Pradyumnant. How are you?
Namaste. Namaste. I'm good. How are you? My gratitude to everyone and to especially to you. Yeah.
I love that picture in your background. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm going to introduce you very briefly, Professor. So,
Okay.
Dr. Pradyumna, he is working as a vice principal of Agrawal PG College in Jaipur. Oh my goodness. You're in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. He has served as Deputy Director and Professor in Amity School of Hospitality since February 2012. Dr. Ratori holds a doctorate in hospitality. Oh my goodness, I just want to hear about that and how it relates to family, because hospitality is so key. So we have a couple questions for you. Dr. Pradyumnant. The first question is, what challenges do you see in modern families?
Oh, yes. I belong to India, and fortunately, I have been living, I was born in Rajput family, and I would go a little bit about this information that, this community has been serving the entire world. And this community has the moral values, and this community had their own characters to serve the people, to lead the entire world, and resolve the issues of the people. And they were born for the glorious history and rich culture. And unfortunately, I was born in this family, but unfortunately, all these characteristics are gone from the families and from the people of this community or different families. So it is very unfortunate that people are losing the characters and having lots of issues and having lots of problems in the modernization of the world. They are self-concerned and they are self-motivated, but they're just breaking the families. They are attracting towards some modern culture, modern I would say the westernized culture. And it used to be happening the joint families, but now it becomes a nuclear family. They really want to live with their own desires, own expectations. But it is very unfortunate. It is very sad that nowadays the family is having so many challenges to survive. Yeah, so there are lots of issues happening between the husband, wives, between the children and the parents, and between the grandparents and the granddaughters and grandsons, so grandchildren, and so many challenges are there in today's families. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Ratori. Are you comfortable with me calling you Pradyumna?
Oh, you can call me Pradyumna. I like to hear this. You know,
Thank
it's
so
very
much.
nice to hear.
I have many friends that are doctors and they like to be called doctors. So I'm really grateful.
No need to call doctor. Yeah.
So I heard from you, Prajum, that you know your organization or your affiliation with what you do as a person is to build community and to have values. And these values have somewhat denigrated to self-motivated families, people that are not so interested in joint families anymore. I recently watched a documentary, kind of somewhat of a documentary by a very famous teacher, and his name is Indradyumna Maharaj, and he was sharing history of your culture in Jaipur, and it was such a rich and beautiful culture. And so as I hear you speak about the joint family, you know, not existing so much anymore, I understand so much what you say about challenges. Another part of this question, Prajumna, is what spiritual solutions, technologies can you suggest? Because as you yes, please.
Hospitality is the life spiritual technology through which so many problems can be resolved. You know, hospitality basically refers to the Atiti Devo Bhava. The guest is a god, and you know, when we have the family, we get so many chances and we get so many opportunities to become a guest. And you know, so many problems are resolved by this hospitality, which is the spiritual technology. And you know, it can resolve lots of issues, it can bring the people closer, and it can always solve the, you know, personal issues of the people. And I found that hospitality is not a commercial hospitality. It's social hospitality. Like in Sanskrit, we call them Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The entire world is a one family. So and in that family, we serve to each other, and that is called the hospitality. Serving each other refers to the hospitality. So I say that hospitality is, you know, the exact technology which can be used for removing the issues of the families.
Thank you. You're right on point with your answers. Thank you so much. I have a second part of this question, Prajum, is you talked about hospitality and as a technology. And so the question is, please share any interesting or instructive experience in solving family issues or anyone with that particular technology of hospitality.
I'll share my own, you know, actual experience or own story. You know, we have a very big and joint family in India, in Jaipur. And we have uncles, aunts, and, you know, they all live together. But a few years ago, I had a problem. I had an issue with my own uncle. And, you know, just a different perception, different mindset up. And, you know, I used to feel that my uncle reached on that high level, I have to do something better than him. So we had a different perception and different thoughts. So we did not have a good relationship. But because of the hospitality, a few years back, his daughter was going to get married. And because of the hospitality, because of the joint family, we had to serve together to the wedding, right? In the wedding, all the functions we had to serve together. And you know, I didn't want to go to the wedding. I wanted to avoid it, but because of the family restrictions, I had to go, and I went to that wedding, and we served together. And when we served together in the wedding, and we became closer. And you know, we ate together. We had so many events, and you know, after that we have so many festivals. And sometimes, yes, it breaks down, but because of the joint family moral values, we come together and we solve the problems, and we solve the big issues which come to our family. We are all united. So this is a very good example that, because of the traditions, because of the hospitality that we have to serve, and maybe we have a very bad relation, but we have to work together. We have to arrange the things for the wedding event. We had to do lots of arrangement for my sister's wedding, and we became very close. So I became, then after that, after some time, I became his guest. He came to my home. I served him with delicious food. We, like Rup Goswami said, that, 6 rules of the hospitality. We have to give gifts. We have to accept the gifts. We have to invite the guest. We have to be the guest. We have to listen to the guest. And of course, we have to share our own things when we become a guest. Yes. So, these kind of small stories are really good examples of the hospitality which removes and which solves the issues of the family relationships.
Pradyumna, I thank you so much for that personal story. That's so beautiful. It sounds to me that as a member of a joint family, and having some obstacle of someone being an achiever, you were able to cross those boundaries simply by serving, by making yourself available, making yourself present. And because that's one of the community values of joint family, that's a way that you can, rectify some of the issues that may come up in families. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I am learning so much from all of you, all of you that are presenting. And I'm such a tiny person, I can't break myself in 4 to be in all of your groups, but I'm hoping I can just bounce in one and one and one and one like this to hear from all of you. I personally feel I have so much to learn. And I thank you. I thank all 4 of you so very much from the bottom of my heart that you're giving your time in service to humanity the way you are. Thank you so much. Now I'll turn you over to Sagar Maharaj, our host, and Malika Mala. And thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for engaging me.
Thank you, Rajalila. I was thinking, because you're so much involved with family, problems and helping family people, maybe you could also give a few minutes to explain to us your perspectives on family and spiritual approach to family relations.
Well, I've been married over 30 years, and I'm a part of an organization that is very much active. As I said, love is action. And so we're very active in doing workshops and seminars, training people before marriage, and then in marriage, giving tools to be able to assist people with the journey of marriage, because marriage is a journey. And it's a journey, as I hear you all say, towards one kind of end goal, which is for us to live as human beings, respecting and caring about each other. In our organization, there are 6 of us that are involved in this organization, and we've written a book. The book is called, I think I have this book here. It's called Heart and Soul. Heart and Soul. And basically in this book, it has many of the different persons that are involved in this organization are writing different technologies to be able to assist families just navigate through living in this world that's so chaotic. And so some of the, I'll just share, so there's basic foundational principles, and there are 12 principles that we guide people that are in marriage. And I don't want to, waste, your time, because I want to hear from all the participants. However, my contribution in this organization is to support families, and as you are all doing, with values that can be cultivated from a very young age, and also cultivated before marriage, because that's where we see some of the tragic failure of marriages, of people being in family life. is there's no real cultivation pre-marriage. And as you are all sharing, the foundational understanding of marriage is to have a spiritual foundation. Everyone is saying that so beautifully. And so we cultivate that in whatever workshops we do, whatever seminars we're doing. We cultivate the understanding that we're spiritual beings and we have these bodies that we have, and they're to be utilized in service to humanity and ultimately to the Supreme. And so our spiritual foundation is built on that. We also have I just sharing these because I just kind of brought these books to put on my table just in case I had to say something I didn't know. We have a book that we follow that's also called the four goals of family life. And that's based on our theology, based on our spiritual principles, 4 goals of family life. And in my own life, I'm very active. I do a lot of pre-marital consulting work. And as I said, we have a seminar coming up in just before Valentine's Day. And that's a panel discussion of those of us that's involved in the organization. And we will be sharing basic principles, basic technologies on how to navigate this family journey in this world of chaos. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prajalila. Really powerful presentation. And I think Edina wanted to share. You wanted to share something? Were you raising your hand? Oh yeah. No? Can you unmute yourself? Okay. All right. So looks like we are ready to go into separate rooms. And Kishori Rani will be sending all of us into the small groups. And please, all the iFast members present here, take the facilitation role and help each other to answer the same type of questions you've heard at the panel. And you'll have longer time, about 40 or maybe even 45 minutes today for your discussion. So we're looking forward to meet each other at the small groups.
I will share the questions that we usually discuss in the small groups right now. And
Yes,
also, please, if you are in a group that speaks the language that you do not understand, leave the group and write in the chat, and I will transfer you to the group with your language. Because we have here Spanish speaking, Russian speaking, and we would like you to be comfortable to be in a room that everyone speaks your language. And now we have 40 minutes. I also will be writing in the chat approximately time when it's going to be over. So please follow the chat and have a great conversation.
Thank you. Back, everyone. You look pretty happy. So I hope everyone had a great time in your little rooms, in your little groups. Your discoveries. I mean, I have mine, but I would love to hear from you. Please. No inspiration,
Yes,
no discoveries. Yes, Biden Adropov, please.
Our group, we had Dr. Pradyumna in there, and we were expanding on the topic of hospitality and love in family relationships. We had different participants who spoke about their own experiences in their families. Some lived in huge Indian families, others lived in Western nuclear families. But some or other, we found the same essence, rules for successful family life. Expanding from hospitality, also Dr. Pradyumna mentioned the 6 rules of loving relationships mentioned by Rupa Goswami. So sharing gifts, accepting gifts, offering food, accepting food, and opening one's mind and listening to other people talking. And we were also mentioning the concept of renunciation. Although there is love, this is difficult. One side love, affection, on the other side renunciation. This seems to be two opposites. And we were saying that this can be achieved not by trying to control the family from the father's side or from different family members' side, but by putting God in the center and trying and accepting this concept that in the family we are together for some time, especially when the children are young, but for most part of one's life, one follows his own destination. Also, what was mentioned was the importance of roles or etiquette in family life, that family members connect to each other in proper ways of etiquette, like courtesy and like that. So these were some of the points that we were mentioning in our group.
All right. Thank you very much, Vaidyanatha Prabhu. And somebody else, I can see that you are enthusiastic but little shy. Don't be shy. Raise your hand, and you can do that by pressing the participants button. There's supposed to be a hand there. Anyway, or you can physically raise your hand. Amir Sundari, please.
I just couldn't find it. I heard that I was too quiet, so I'm just going to try to speak a bit closer, but I'm going to be big on the screen. I'm sorry about that. And just most importantly, is that you hear me properly. So our group discussion, it was so deep, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to share it as deeply as it was given to us. And we were so lucky to be in the same group with Nrsimha Khananda. And a few minutes before the session ended, also Rajalila joined us. So basically what we were talking about was the support in the family, in the spiritual journey, that we have to support each other, and that our spiritual practice, it brings us together rather than it pulls us apart. And also we spoke about attachments, that what or who should be the right attachment, and who should be in the center of our lives, and think more about him, about Lord, about God, not to think so much about ourselves in kind of ego way, selfish way. So these are the main points that we discussed, and it was really inspiring. Really, I'm very thankful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Amir Sundari. Okay, let's see if anyone else wants to speak. You can unmute yourself and share whatever you would like to share. Okay, if there is a pause, maybe I could tell that we've been so fortunate to have extra conversation with Edwina, and I'm, thrilled, because not only we are on the same page, but we are doing pretty much, we're going in the same direction, and we've decided that we should make next steps and establish collaboration, which is, I mean, you cannot, we could not imagine greater gift than, collaboration opportunities, especially with such a bright spiritual leader as Edwina. So, and we've got Rajalila there as well, visited us and shared a few important points. And Sati was there as well, secretary for the IFAST International. So anyone else wants to share, please? Okay, Pata Amanashvili. Okay, and then Naren. Pata Amanashvili, please.
Thank you very much. We found ourselves in the room with Patri Das, and we, he's in India now, and so we talked a little bit about education and family. Yeah, how there are, I found that there are communities of children and schools where they talk in Sanskrit, and Patri does show that some phrases in Sanskrit. It sounds like song and singing, and so we sing a little bit of song. And for me, it was quite a long phrase. What's your name? This in Sanskrit, but it sounds beautiful. And so we also talked more about our education and development programs in Georgia. Come here to Georgia one summer to participate in our
Wonderful.
inspiring conversation. And thank you very much.
You made nice friendship in the room. Congratulations.
Great.
Okay. So Narendra Kumar, you wanted to go next? Unmute yourself,
Yes,
please.
I do want to go next. I just want to emphasize one point. Spirituality is not a void thing. Spirituality doesn't offer anything to the world or life of the people. It has got a lot of things to offer to the to family, to friends, to the whole world. And in my group, I gave an example of my sister where I was able to solve her depression problem by spirituality, and it is a real thing. Not only that thing, I solved one problem, one of my brother's son problem. He had a very big financial problem. I was able to solve it. It is the name of the God which solves the problem. It is not I solve the problem. And the person should have a real problem. If you go to God, you should really feel that problem. If you don't have a problem and you just try to approach and say, oh, give me more money, that is not going to be the thing. You have a problem which is hurting you all the time. Then go to God and say, please help me. And God will help you.
Thank you.
And the one thing our Prabhupada was able to spread such a big religion throughout the world. It's not, I will not say Prabhupada was the instrument who did it, but the real thing which made the whole world know about Hare Krishna movement is the name of the God. And that's where I just want to emphasize.
All right. Thank you, Narendra Kumarji. And also, I wanted to acknowledge and appreciate the presence of seminary students from Russian Orthodox Church, I mean Ukrainian Christian Orthodox Church, and they stayed with us, and we're very happy that they are here. And if any of you, the seminary members, the young priests, would like to share anything, we'll be very honored to listen from you. You can think.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Владислав. Мы очень рады, что вы нас пригласили на эту конференцию. Было интересно пообщаться с людьми, услышать что-то новое про семью, так как у нас здесь все молодые, своих семей еще нету, но все же будут. И поэтому это был весьма интересный опыт в проведении такого семинара. И поэтому мы вам очень благодарны за приглашение.
Спасибо большое. Я переведу то, что вы сказали. So, yeah, they thanked us, and they wanted to express their appreciation for being able to learn more about family because they're not yet married, and So they wanted to learn how family and spirituality can be connected. So thank you. And let's see if anyone else wants to share.
Patri.
Yes, Patri does, please.
Thank you to everyone. I really want to extend my gratitude to be with all of you today. And I really wanted to share something with the wonderful priest students. Maybe, can I speak a little bit in Russian so you can translate? And I can recite the poem.
Okay, no problem. Go
Я
ahead.
на самом деле сам с Украины. Я могу поприветствовать вас, дорогие братья. Вот. И я очень тоже уважаю семинарию, потому что я был в Киевской Печорской лавре, у меня очень много друзей. Я сейчас учусь в древних монастырях в Индии уже последние 25 лет. И я просто хочу поделиться с вами улыбкой на языке любви. По воле по твоей все происходит, печаль и счастье в гости к нам приходят. Встречаем мы друзей, жену или мужа, все по заслугам нашим будет. Что заслужим? По воле по твоей все происходит, луна и солнце вовремя восходят, и по твоей лишь происходит воле, что нищий бедствует, а царь сидит на троне. Что заслужил, зато тебе награда. Кому мы служим, разобраться надо. Семье, собаке, праотцам или дедам, с вопросом этим обратимся к ведам. Твое должны понять мы положение и возродить к тебе духовное стремление, ведь, Господи, без твоей верховной воли нам век страдать в иллюзии и в боли. По воле по твоей все происходит, к нам озарение внезапное приходит. Тебя мы молим милости смиренно, не оставляй нас в царстве снов забвенных. Я очень рад, что у вас настолько тоже чистые сердца, и по лицам вашим видно. Я очень рад, что это вот семья Бога, у нас столько братьев и сестер есть, вне зависимости от одежды. У вас темная, у меня светлая на самом деле, но сердца и души у нас все одни, и у нас удивительная семья. Спасибо вам большое.
Мы тоже очень вам благодарны за столь добрые слова. Это было очень приятно. Спасибо.
Спаси Бог. Спаси Бог.
Thank you, Patri Prabhu. So since he is from Ukraine, he was very happy to see Ukrainian young priests and wanted to share his poetry with them. Thank you, Patri. Okay, we have Rick raising his hand. Please, Rick, unmute yourself and say a few words.
Sorry, that wasn't me raising my hand. That was me clapping for the
I
phone.
see. Okay. All right. Thank you, Rick. Wonderful.
No worries.
Yeah. Well, good to see you every day. Thank you for being with us throughout the whole forum, throughout the entire gift. All right. So.
Sorry, Brother Swami, can I share?
Oh, Samira, you're with us. Wonderful.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone. It's wonderful to be with all of you, to see the familiar faces from before. And if you knew, I'm really sorry I missed the beginning of the call because of another conflicting meeting, but I just wanted to share how much I appreciate what IFAST did throughout this week. I know it's not easy to maintain a panel that goes for 5+ days with different speakers every evening, and a special thanks for you, because you have moderated this in such a wonderful way. So I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to have you with URI. And on the topic of family, I think that there is the family that we're born with that we cannot select. With some people we might agree, with some people we might disagree, which is fine as long as we know how to moderate that. But there is the family that we choose in our lives. That can be friends, that could be life partners, or business partners, or the interfaith family that we created together. And I just want to emphasize that we can be this wonderful family together for as long as we continue doing this work. Each of the groups that are here together today can do their own thing in their own respect, in their own spaces, but still we work for the higher purpose. of creating a wonderful global family of people who want to bring upon a change. And I'm so proud to be able to work with all of your groups and with all of you individually. So thank you for doing this. I really felt the need to share this.
Thank you very much, Samira, and especially for your tireless support. I mean, this forum, this gift would not be able to happen without your help, because you spent so many sleepless nights. I know that you were responding my WhatsApp messages very late at night. And so thank you for your sacrifices. And of course, Samira has been newly married, and we wish her to have perfectly happy spiritual family life. And, you know, she's taking care of the big URI family, and we wish her all the best in her family as well. Thank you, Samira. Now we have Natalia Robinson from Chicago area, Billing, and she can share with us a few of her realizations, please.
I also want to say thank you to you and to everyone who organized this meeting. Really enjoyed it. We're not sure if we were able to come, but we really liked it and made the time, even in a vacation kind of. It's very important, especially this topic, family. Already Rajlila discussed and other speakers, how family can be happy if it's centered around God. So we as spiritualists can really help this world with right now more than 50% families are divorcing, but spiritual people can help. And at the same time, we can also see in some spiritual societies, religious societies, there are also divorces happening. So it means that the deeper work is needed. So I think we can really go deep. And I already said, like, we work in this area as experts lately, and it's really, really successful to help people understand what is their role in the family. So my desire is that we can all help to bring love from God and also help people to understand their roles in their families. And thank you so much again.
Thank you, Natalia. I know this family for many, many years, because she is my god sister, as we say. We have the same spiritual master, and she's been a perfect, example of good spiritual family for so many years. They live together, they have wonderful son, and the perfect family is not when they look at each other. This is her son, but they look in the same direction, and they're real missionaries. And Natalia recently developed the course in family constellations, and she's so popular. And I was thinking Edwina is living in Chicago, Natalia living in the suburbs as well. Maybe you could connect and work together. So thank you, Natalia.
Thank you so much.
We've already connected.
Oh yeah, wonderful. That's great. That's great to know. So Rick wanted to say something. Please, Rick, share with us your inspiration.
Brother Sagar, I'd just like to offer one of my favorite poems, if I could. I think it addresses spiritual family, and it really speaks to me every time I read it. So this is The Cold Within by James Patrick Kinney. 6 humans trapped in happenstance, in dark and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story's told. Their dying fire in need of logs, the woman held hers back. For of the faces round the fire, she noticed one was black. The next man looking across the way saw one not of his church, and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store, and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight. for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. Their logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without, they died from the cold within.
Wow,
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you, Rick. Really deep poem. So, do we have somebody else? Yes, okay. I was also thinking that some people might be wondering, like monks, renunciates who never had family experience like myself and Patri, what are we doing in this assembly discussing family? But I mean, speaking of myself, doing many years of mediation and resolution, I've been through not only 1 or 2 or 3 family lives, I've been at least through 20 or 25 family lives, because I had to learn about all the problems in the families. And actually, the most amazing realization I had is that if husband and wife are listening to each other, it becomes perfect family. And actually, one really strong conviction I have is that if husband listens to his wife regularly, then it guarantees the peace in the family. Actually, there is a joke in Russian. There is a Russian joke about it, but this joke has a lot of truth to it. And the joke goes as follows, and hopefully everyone can catch the Russian joke. What is the happy family? Happy family is when she is doing what she wants and he is doing what she wants. So that's the happy family. But it is true that family is actually for women's benefit, because woman is the mother, and of course, children are depending on the mother in the first place. And so, yes, for man, family life is real sacrifice. And yes, it's really important to basically listen to your wife. That's the simple secret for happy family. This is what I've realized. Well, for those of you who are not yet married, if you're not ready to listen to your wife, better don't put yourself in trouble. Patri, again, you wanted to share something?
Yes, thank you very much. And perhaps for people maybe a little bit surprising how monks, they talking about the family. Well, we always have to remember, actually in Sanskrit, very ancient language, family or marriage called vivaha. Vi means vishesha, means special, and vaha means load, responsibilities you have to carry. You have to carry something. Vaha means to carry something. Vivaha means to carry very special, heavy burden of responsibilities. Responsibility means responsibility, ability to respond. Unfortunately, people so much disconnected through this WhatsApp, Facebook. They have to talk with each other from different rooms through WhatsApp. I've seen many times. And in our case, we have big community of congregation, and we have big family. As I was mentioning in our group, family means father and mother, I love you. Father and mother, I love you. So we have Supreme Father, Father God. And if everybody will love Supreme Father, family will stay together. When we pray together, we stay together. If we dance together, we'll advance together. So that's very important to put God, not Google or mobile, Samsung or iPhone, but to put God in the center of the families. And I've seen the families where they're working together, as Saint-Exupéry said, real lovers and family members, not those who are looking at each other, but those who are looking in the same direction. So our direction should be really spiritual understanding and God, how to please him. And that's my personal realization wanted to share with you and all our family. People asking me, okay, do you have family? I do have big family. We have schools, we have wonderful community, and one for all, everybody for one. As yesterday, I think was told that there is me-ism, we have to make into we-ism. But I would say we have to make it from me-ism, me in the center, me, society. We-ism, but we have to make it he-ism. We have to just work together as a one big family to please Supreme Lord. Then we'll be very happy families. Thank you so much to everyone for being wonderful family here.
Thank you, Patri. And thank you, everyone. And as a special thanks to our interpreters who behind the screen, behind the stages, were tirelessly working. Basu Bandu, he was translating for Spanish-speaking guests, and Leola was translating for Russian-speaking participants. And we thank them for your tireless service. It's not an easy job. I'm doing interpreting sometimes myself. I know it's can be pretty challenging with so many different accents, etc. So, and we really wanted to encourage everyone, especially to bring as many people as you can, and of course come yourself for the final day, the 7th of February, because we are preparing a lot of wonderful surprises and gifts for you, and it should be fun. So, I mean, if you enjoyed it so far, by the 7th, it will be like total bliss explosion that we can guarantee you. So we're preparing something special for the 7th. So please join us and invite as many friends as you can. So thank you all very much for your enthusiastic participation, and especially those who helped organizing today's forum, especially Kishori Rani.
And yeah, thank you, Maharaj. And also special thank for our wonderful host today, Virgilila.
Oh, yes.
You can share a few words, dear Virgilila. I know you visited all the groups, and we will be really happy to hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah, we were so impressed with her professional level. It's just mind-blowing. Now we know why she's on so much demand from so many different governments around the world to come and train their staff, because I mean, this lady is powerhouse.
Sorry, Maharaj. Kishore Rani is definitely an IFAS personality, because I shared with her that I've already shared, I facilitated, I shared. So I'm very happy to listen, and I'm seriously, listening is a gift. To be able to listen is a gift. And so I'm very grateful to everyone. I'm very grateful that I got to hear from so many wonderful presenters. This is really, you know, how you've committed yourself to sharing in the way that you are, especially coming together as two organizations. You know, we talk about families. So there's families of organizations that will make a difference in the world. And so these two organizations come together. And what's important is, as humanity in these organizations, that we make a difference. That's important. So thank you all so very much. Thank you, Sagar Maharaj. Thank you, Malika Mala. Your vision and your work, and all of the persons involved, Kishorani, who I know tirelessly serve, and all of the persons that Malika Mala has given her blood, sweat, and tears to cultivate. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for the service that you're offering to humanity to make a difference in the world. Thank you very much.
That was a wonderful conclusion from Brajalila. And so we're looking forward to see you tomorrow and especially on the 7th. So all the best. And we'll see you tomorrow and especially the after.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Radu Manji.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Sagar
Good to
Maharaj.
see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.